So, a question that we get a lot in our workshops is, how do I watermark my photos? And there's a multitude of ways that you can do that. I've already got some ways on my YouTube channel that you can use just plain watermarks in either Lightroom or Lightroom Classic. But today I want to teach you how to take a logo or a photo logo and actually turn it into a stamp that you can apply in Photoshop. So this lets you position and actually create different colors and effects on your logo, because basically you're going to turn it into a brush. So we're going to start with a PNG file. Now, I do need to tell you this file does need to have a transparent background and it needs to be one singular color. So if you have a logo that has a lot of complications to it or has a complicated set of colors, you're going to have to continue to just drop the PNG in on top of the image. So, for example, if I wanted to put this logo onto this particular image, I have the logo created in Illustrator. So I have it here and I am just going to select it as a smart object. So I'm just going to copy the actual logo and I'm going to come over to my image and just paste. And it's going to ask me, do I want to paste it as a smart object? I can click OK, and there is my logo. That's one way I could get it in there. Another way, so let's go ahead and delete that one. Another way I could do it is to just simply have my logo on my desktop, which I do in a PNG file, and I can just drag and drop. So this is the file, and I can just drag and drop it, and then that's going to give it to me as well. So if your logo has some colors to it, you're going to have to do it this way. But what I want to teach you is the stamp. That's what we're here for. So I have opened that PNG file inside of Photoshop. By the way, I could also drag it from here over to one of those images. That's another way I could get it there. But it's all one color. It's on a transparent background. I know it's transparent because I can see the little checkerboard there. And I have my layer named. Now, it actually came in with the layer named, but if yours does not have the layer named, then you need to go ahead and name the layer. In a PNG file, if it is not compressed, it should come through as a layer 1. If you have a single image, like a single color, and it's on a white background, then you can use your magic wand tool to select the background color and then delete it so that you have an image that's transparent. But we have to have a transparent background so that all we see is the image on top of that transparent background. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select everything in that image. And we're going to come up here to the select tool. Whoops. We have to have the layer selected first. So if that doesn't work for you, chances are you didn't click on the layer. The layer actually needs to be highlighted over here in our layer palette. So I'm going to click on select and I am going to click load selection. And I'm just going to take it as a new selection since this is only one layer and it just has one color to it. It's going to just make marching ants all around the logo. So every piece of it is selected that is not transparent. So once I have that done, I'm going to come over here to edit and I'm going to click on define brush preset. And we're going to call this Kim Beer Fancy logo because I made one with horses on it just for this demonstration, but I kind of like it. So I may end up keeping it, but I wanted something that had a lot of graphic to it so that you could see how it would look and how it would stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. And now you'll see I actually have my brush tool over here selected and look, there's my logo, right? And if I were to click, there's nothing here because this is all background. It would actually put my logo on the page. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to come over here and here's what's the fun part of this. Let me make this so you don't have to see as much of my desktop as you do. I could put it in at this size, or I can use my bracket keys and I can size it accordingly. And it's going to come in at the brush color. So if I click it now, it comes in a blue color, right? So if I want it to come in as, I'm going to make it white in here. I'm going to click on the white, and let's say I want to put this particular logo. It's hard with that background, right? It's hard with all of this, but let's say I want to put it here. We're going to make it smaller. Actually, let's do it right here underneath the cow. So boom, I can put it exactly where I want it. And I can use my bracket keys because I'm using a brush. I can make it any size that I want. So I can use that brush, the bracket keys to make my brush bigger or smaller. And you can see here, there's my brush. And if I were to paint it, it would make a painting. So if I were to so it would actually make a color as it goes across. But this allows you to be able to pretty well choose anywhere you want to put your logo. In this case, I did stick it on the background layer, but I'm actually going to name the layer, and then I'm going to create another layer just by clicking my plus sign here. And then I could create I could go ahead and stamp my logo here. And then if I wanted to move it, then I could use my move tool to move that anywhere that I would want to move it before this specific image. If you do it on a separate layer, please note that if you enlarge this, it is not going to be clear. So you can make it smaller and it'll be fine. But if you come in and you do edit and transform and scale, when you scale it up, it's going to get pixelated because the original brush was at that particular like 500 pixels that we used. So it's fine as long as it stays that size. But if you need to scale it, make sure you do it again and scale it accordingly with the bracket keys. So let's go ahead and leave that one there. And then let's come over here and let's make another one. But this one we're going to make black. So you can come here and choose black, and then it is going to stamp it in black. So let's say we actually want this one to be bigger. So I'm going to scale it up and click, and there it is in black. Now, if I want to change the color of it once it's stamped, if I did it correctly, I could do this. So I always recommend doing it on another layer, but I got excited and didn't do it. So let's go ahead and stamp it on another layer. So again, it's my brush tool. I'm going to go ahead and click the stamp. And then I can come here and say layer style, and I can do color overlay. And then I can make it any color that I want. So there it is in white. I could make it in red. I could also take my eyedropper tool and I could grab a color from my image if I wanted to be able to utilize that as the basis for what I wanted that particular logo to look. I kind of like the dark blue, so let's leave it at that. I can also use that layer style palette to be able to add effects. So if I wanted to add a drop shadow to help it stand out a little bit, I could do that. I could also add an outer glow. That would help as well to make it stand out against the dark background. And I could add a stroke if I needed to, or I can use bevel and emboss as well. So you can use any of these layer style things to be able to add to your logo. Actually, I really kind of like it in the black the best. So that's the basics of how you create the stamp. Now, that stamp is with your Photoshop from pretty much here forward. In the past, we've had to make new versions of it every time a new version of Photoshop comes out. So make sure you save your PNG file in case that's something we need to do in the future. But you have it now, and you know exactly how to make it into a stamp. And what's more fun than that is you can do this with all kinds of things. So if there's things you want to utilize or make stamps out of, you can create a brush preset at any point in time from any PNG file or any file that has a transparent background and a singular color to it. That makes our lives a lot of fun in Photoshop. So it gives us some opportunities to do some different things. So I hope you've enjoyed this little short tutorial. I will see you in the next one.